So guys, I'm going to log the meeting at sharp 7:10. So guys, it will be really great if you'll join by your registered name. Because I don't think we like Mentor will be talking to the devices. So yeah, it will be really great if you'll rename yourself because I think I have gave you the option. Like you have the option with yourself. Over to you, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much, Ayush, and I welcome everyone out there to join this webinar. As you guys are very much, seems to be very much excited, even I am equally excited. Such a great audience we have for today's webinar. I really heartily welcome you all, and I must tell you guys that you are going to learn very, very amazing tips and tricks to how to give an effective presentation, right? So at the end of the webinar, I advise you people to come up with some good questions so that you can clear your doubts regarding how you can give the presentation, right? So let's get started up. So before we actually start with today's webinar, let me give a brief introduction about myself because it's always mandatory and important to know whom you are listening to, right? So I am Kirti Mehta, campus to corporate trainer. I have been training management students since 3 years. And let me be honest with you, students, and to all the corporate leaders I have trained, I am not a trained trainer. Whatever I have shared with the previous batches, with the previous students, and whatever I'm going to share with you all, completely and entirely based on my personal experience, right? So this is going to be a very, very helpful session. You are going to learn how you can build an effective presentation and how you can deliver an effective presentation. That's too in an effective way. So when it comes to presentation, we have lots of doubts, right? So what we should add, what we should delete, how we can start, and what are the things we should keep in our mind. These are the basic questions that generally pops up in our mind. So today we are going to get the solution for every question that we have had previously. Okay. So what is presentation according to you all? Presentation is nothing but the way you present your thoughts and your opinions. Whatever is going on in your mind, how you portray itself in front of the public gathering, it's all about presentation, right? In today's world, to be precise, in today's era, it is very, very important that you master this skill because the only thing that will help you to land at your dream career, at your dream job, whatever you are looking for will only be able you'll only be able to get that if you have the effective presentation skills. Presentation is not always about how you're going to stand in front of people and deliver a presentation about some formal event, some coming meeting, or something like that. It is not always about that. Presentation involves lot more things, maybe the things you have never ever thought of, right? So today we are going to start from a note that we are all amateurs, right? So we are going to start from the very basic level, and from that level we are going to reach the expected level, right? Okay, so without wasting any more time, I'm going to start with today's webinar. I welcome you again. Also, there are approximately 100 participants as I can see. So such a lovely audience we have for today's webinar. Let's get started up. So the very first thing that we all should know, that is why presentation is important, right? So presentation skills, why they are important, why effective presentation skills are important. You all can see on the screen, there are two pictures being displayed, right? On the one side, you can see the idli. On the other side also, there is a same dish. But the only thing which is different, which is making them feel different, look different, is how they are being presented, right? So the dish is obviously the same, but the entire game has been changed just on the basis of how they have been plated, right? Likewise, in our life also, whatever skills we have, people, the other person doesn't know about it. Unless and until we make them aware, they will never come to know what are the skills we are carrying inside us. So it is very important that we look presentable, and whatever we say is presentable and relatable, right? So maybe you can pay $100 for the same dish, even more than $100 for the same dish you have been served just normally. Okay, so the game changer is the presentation. How it is being presented, it is very, very crucial. We are ordering a dish at a common roadside vendor, and the same dish we're having at some hotel, it's completely different. Even if the taste is better at the roadside vendor, we pay more to the hotel one. Why? Because we can feel the ambience, the presentation is so marvelous, it appeals us, it compels us to pay more, right? So in general life, you can see lots of examples around you where you can see the necessity of presentation. Suppose you're going to a normal shop to buy some t-shirt, some hoodie, or a pair of jeans, and you're going to buy the same to a mall. If you're going to a normal vendor shop, everything is messed up over there. And even if the quality is good, you will never ever pay the same amount of over there, obviously, because it is not presentable, it will not appeal you, right? And you will pay more to the mall because there it has been placed, it has been presented very nicely. There are mannequins and they can, very appealing, and you can pay more amount to the same article. Same happens with the persons who are applying for any job. Okay, suppose you're going to apply for a job and your interviewer has analyzed the outlook of you. They have analyzed what kind of personality you have. Before you start speaking, your presentation speaks volumes about you. So it is always advisable that you present yourself in a very, very, I would not say a different manner, but an appropriate manner according to the demand of the situation, right? So during the webinar, I will be sharing lots of tips on your body language as well. So you will not only be getting about the presentation skills, but you will also get some knowledge, you will also get some tips regarding to your body language, right? So this is the first part that we have covered, that why presentation is important, because it can make the basic look like an extraordinary thing. So if you want your skill to look extraordinary, it is mandatory for you to learn the presentation skills. It is mandatory for you to learn the art of presentation. Okay, so now the next slide says, what should be my goals and how should I achieve them? There are two things in life that we should be very precise about. One is the what part, the second is the how part. When you will analyze that what you want out of your life, then half of the question, half of the problem will get resolved. The second part would be how you can achieve them. So first, if you have analyzed that what you want your presentation to look like, half of the problem will get resolved. The second part would be how you can achieve them. So before preparing any presentation, it is very, very important that what is the objective, what you are going to achieve, and what others are going to get from your presentation. When you have the clarity of thought in this subject, then automatically the next part will going to be very, very easy. The next part is going to be very, very easy because you have already know what you want in your plate. Okay, when you know that what you want to eat, it would become very easy then. The next part would be how you can make that dish. So it is always advisable for you people, for everyone out there, that you know what you want to eat, right? Only then you can able to collect the ingredients, put them together, and then create or prepare a beautiful dish, right? So these two questions should be very very clear. So presentation skills is not a rocket science, I would say, and it's not simple either. Presentation skills is all about the art, or the artistic or the creative mindset that you have. People says we are not creative, we cannot think out of the box, but I say everyone is creative on their part. The only thing they are missing in their life is they haven't unleashed that creative side of their life. Once you ponder upon those thoughts, once you do the brainstorming, once you start asking question from yourself, you will start getting the answers also. Okay, so there are four basic steps, as you can see on your screens also. There are four P's that one should focus on before and after preparing, or during preparing for the presentation, right? So very first thing is the plan. We can do nothing without plan. Life would be like clueless without a plan, right? When you don't have a plan, you don't know what you want to do, what you want to achieve. So you should have a plan, right? Plan here, what does mean? When you got a topic to present to the other people, then you start creating a mind map. You start connecting the dots, that okay, this would be included, this can be included in my presentation, this should also be there. So these all are the planning part, right? When you get the topic from anybody else, or your boss, your seniors, your superiors, anybody, anyone can give you a topic, right? So when you get the topic, then starts the planning part, then comes your mind and your thought work into action. So when you plan, then starts the preparation in the terms of you will create the slides, you will put your creativity into it, and then you will practice it. Without practicing, we cannot deliver the best. Why I am saying so? Because even if I am saying about this topic, I have practiced about this topic a lot, right? I have delivered the same topic to a lot of students for so many years. So I have practiced, I have mastered this topic. That is the only thing which is giving me the confidence to speak well about the topic. So if you don't practice your skill, you can never be the master of that skill. So whatever we are going to learn in this webinar, we will be committed, and you all must be committed that whatever you're going to learn, you will keep it in practice. Only then it will become a master skill. Okay, so once you have planned, you have prepared, and you have practiced, if all these three P's comes in the same coordinated manner, then your presentation part, when you are going to deliver it, it would be marvelous performance. It would be the wonderful performance, the performance about which you were waiting for. So we have to make things very very clear at our mind level, right? So right now what we are doing, we are learning the basic theory concepts. In the next coming few minutes, I'll be discussing with you the practical concepts also, right? So we should have a base clear, how we can prepare well, and how we can gather the thoughts, and how to put it together. This is all what we are learning right now, and afterwards we will learn how to do it on a practical grounds. Okay, so do keep everything well settled in your mind, because if the basic concepts won't be clear, you will never be able to master the skills, right? So what we have learned, planning is very important. With planning, you have to prepare accordingly, because there are lots of things which we think about when we are planning the concepts. I might have thought about a lot of things while planning this presentation, this webinar, but when I was actually preparing it and practicing it, lots of things may got added and may got deleted, right? So planning and preparation should be very, very coordinated. When you're practicing it, it may happen that on the present moment, There are some other examples that comes into your mind that would be on the spontaneous point, right? And when you are presenting it, it would be, you should be confident about your skill. If I have heard a lot of students saying this thing that we don't feel confident, we feel underconfident, whatever if I fail to answer the question that the audience will have, whatever if I fail to recall what I have practiced. Let me tell you one thing: if you are continuously sending the same message to your brain that you're going to forget, you're going to fail, you're not going to deliver best, ultimately your performance will be affected, right? So what you can do in the third phase, in the practicing phase, you just give the positive message to your mind that you are going to nail it, you're going to give a wonderful presentation, because you have planned, because you have prepared, because you have practiced a lot. No one can beat you, right? So you should build the confidence from within. Nobody else in the world can give you the confidence pills and you can have it and confidence will be boosted up. It's not going to happen anyway. You only have to say this thing to yourself. You only have to gather all the confidence which is already present in yourself, right? So these are the four grounds, four p's that we should prepare while doing the presentation, while preparing the presentation. So now comes, we have learned a lot about how we can prepare and what are the things we should keep in our mind. But here comes the key solution for every question, for every doubt we guys have before preparing for the presentation, right? So basically, what are effective presentation skills? What makes you stand out from the crowd? What makes the other people turn their head to look at you, to pay attention at you, right? This is the world where everybody is so competitive, right? Everybody is having lots of competency in them, and everybody is want to achieve success. All of them are, just craving for the success. So what we can do differently to stand out from the crowd, right? So what we can do differently to make our presentation stand out from the crowd. So here you can see lots of things in the circles. These are the answers. So very first thing which I would say is very important is your body language. Likewise, here we are doing a webinar, right? So you can only see the half portion of my whole body. You can see the upper half, right? So while I present any presentation, any topic to a public gathering where I have a stage, a nice screen, and my audience in front of me, my body language would be entirely different. We'll come to that part in the end, how you can use the body language effectively. So students or whosoever are present as a part of audience in today's webinar, just make it very, very clear in your mind that body language is the key to all the skills. Your communication skills, the entire soft skills is based on how well you use your body language. As a soft skills trainer, I feel body language is something which is very, very vast. It cannot be learned overnight. You cannot make a change in your body language by just attending few lectures or by just listening to few words. It will happen, it will affect you if you consciously make change in your habits, right? So the way you use your hands, the way you cross your arms, the way you stand, the way you put your thumbs up, the way you make eye contact has altogether a different meaning, right? In today's webinar, we are just stick to the presentation part. We'll be having another one on the body language maybe in the later hours. So body language is the key factor to your presentation skills, right? Second key factor is capturing attention. Your audience is right there with you. If you fail to capture their attention, your entire presentation will get failed, right? Whatever you are saying, for example, whatever I am saying, I want my audience to pay 100% attention. I want my audience to be 100% committed to all the words I am saying. right? As a speaker, as a presentator, this is the foremost thing what we people look for. Okay, so capturing attention is very very important and very very trickiest part. You cannot compel the other people to stick to you. You cannot force the other one to listen to you unless and until they feel there is something they can get out, they can make it something useful what you are saying, then they will be able to pay attention to you. So as we are discussing about this topic, I have already in the very initial part of the presentation I have discussed that you're going to master the art of presentation. So in the audience, those who wants to master this art, they will stay connected, they will pay attention, right? So it is very important that you give your audience something to which they will stick on. As a speaker, it is very very important to give something to your audience in the very starting where they can shift their focus, where they can feel that they will get something to learn. If you come in front of the audience and start saying about your topic randomly and audience just can't feel it useful, they will not get attention, they will not get attached to you, and you will fail to engage them. So it is very very important that we engage with the audience, right? So I hope that you all people are able to see me clearly, and am I audible enough? I suppose I'm audible enough to all of you. Whatever we have discussed by now, is there anything you wish to ask? Is there anything you wish like to add on? You can send it in the chat box. Okay, moving on to the next part. Goal and objective settings is very important, as we have discussed in the planning part. Whatever we are going to tell, whatever we are going to share, why we are doing it, and what are the foremost goal and what are the goals of the audience, it should be on the same grounds. If you join this webinar to learn the art of the presentation, and if I start delivering something else, there would be a cross section between your expectations and my delivery level. So there would be no point where we are crossing lines, so it would not be a successful presentation. So it is very important that you set the goals and the objectives which are realistic and which can be achieved. Okay, setting manageable content points. Whatever you add to your slides is going to get directly in the head of the audience. So if you set the confused content, your audience will not able to get any single point you are telling them. Okay, so very very important part is whatever you want to say, whatever your message is, whatever you wish to convey to them, you add the manageable content points, right? Then your tone, very very important. If you are just reading the presentation, if you're just reading few lines, and if you're just using the same tone, nobody is going to be benefited at all, right? So just suppose if I use the same tone, for example, I'll just give you the two live examples of two different personalities. Personality A does not use the voice modulation, and personality B, which is obviously me, using the voice modulation. So you can yourself feel the difference. Effective presentation skills, transitions, summary, conclusion, tone, handling questions, body language, capturing attention, setting goals and objectives, setting manageable content points. So these are the things that we should know when we are discussing about a presentation. So you see, this person, this speaker is not using voice modulation, is not shifting the focus of one tone to the another tone. If you're saying everything in one go, if you're saying everything in single tone, it would be very monotonous and audience will not be able to connect to it. So when you play with your voice, it becomes very very interactive. Whatever you are saying, if you're talking to a person, if you're explaining some points to a person, your voice modulation should be there. Okay, so make this thing your habit. Using voice modulation will really help you out a lot. Okay, so how you handle the questions in the summary, in the last segment of your presentation, how you are concluding it. most of the times what happens is some of the great speakers that I have met and I have attended their workshops, they've started quite well, they've taken up a good flight, but in the end the presentation becomes very very low level. Audience lost all the interest, and whatever that speaker taught during that 1 2 hours, everybody failed to get even the 30% of the knowledge they have learned. So the ending part is equally important as your starting part. So don't ever think that your starting is important and your ending is not. Your starting is your responsibility, and ending the presentation is equally your responsibility, because that audience, that group of people has stayed with you for like 1 2 hours or whatever the time of the presentation is. So it's very very important, right? So these are the few things we should really keep in our mind, that how we can be an effective presentator. Okay, so how we can plan. We've discussed in the very starting the 4 P's. There are few sub parts. What comes under the planning part? So, who is going to be the audience? Very, very important question, because you just can't deliver the same content to everyone. This is the mistake that most of the people does, and I am 100% sure that most of the students and the college going people did this mistake, that they have prepared one topic, and if they are about to deliver the presentation to the class student, to the HOD, to the director, to the group of delegates, they deliver the same presentation. So, my dear fellow audience, it is very, very important that you know who is going to be your audience, because the content varies as your audience varies. You just can't deliver the same presentation, the same content to the group of high school people and the group of people who are the corporate leaders, because their level of understanding is entirely different. Their level of understanding the concept is entirely different. You just can't take the risk of presenting the same platter. For example, to make it quite clear to you, there are a family who goes to a restaurant to have a dinner or a lunch, and there are a person who belongs to the age group of 60, a person who belongs to the age group of 40, and a person who belongs to the age group of 20. So the restaurant just can't serve the same platter to all three people. So you get this point. When your audience varies, it is the responsibility of the speaker to make required changes in the content. And you should know why your audience is there. I am relating every point with the live example so that you guys can build a better understanding. So, likewise, I'm delivering this presentation. I know my audience is there, and I know why they are joined this webinar, why they have joined this webinar: to learn how to give the presentation. So very very important part, you should have the understanding of these basic questions. For the present moment you might be thinking that these are not important part, but in the long run you will analyze that these questions, asking these questions to yourself, will be very very helpful. So you must know how long will it be. Suppose I know my presentation is going to last for 2 hours. Accordingly I have managed my content. Accordingly I have divided the time per slide. So if you don't have the idea how long your presentation is going to take, you will end up, if you get 1 hour and you have 30 slides and you haven't done the time management, possibility is you have devoted more time in the starting slides and you have left with the lesser time, so the important information may get skipped off. So very very important how long your presentation would be, and accordingly divide the time per slide. Do not add unnecessary information to your presentation. Be precise, be stick to the point, and do remember to take care of where it is going to take place. Likewise, right now we are having a virtual presentation, virtual webinar. Okay, so I knew that I'm going to have this meeting through the Zoom application. I have checked everything before joining in. I have checked all the equipments that are required to join this webinar. Likewise, if you're going to some meeting, you should check either you're having everything settled up, all the technicalities should be done, because you don't want to feel embarrassed in front of the delegates, right? So it looks quite immature if due to some technical issues. See, exceptions can always be there. I'm not saying you can be 100% sure of everything will goes right, but you can be 100% sure on your part. How you can be so sure of that? Because if you have checked the prior arrangements, everything will settle up on the same path. So these are the questions that you should have a clear clarity on about your audience, why they are there, how long it is going to take, and where it is going to take place, right? So by doing so, you can give a clarity to yourself, and you should after doing this analyzation, your content would be more structured, right? So very very important thing, as you can see in this picture, there is no heading, there is no sub points, there is nothing at all, just three words you can see on the screen, that is captivate your audience. And this is like the king of everything. This is like the end of sentence. If you have mastered this art, you have done everything required to give a good presentation, because your audience is going to decide whether your presentation was successful or not. Whatever you are saying, you're saying just to make your audience understand. So to keep them engaged, to keep them live, mentally present in the hall is very very important. So how we can captivate them? One thing that I have shared, that do not go monotonous. You cannot you should not do one tone presentation. Always start with a good nice story. A nice start to a presentation will give a kick start to the entire presentation, right? So just don't stand and start speaking about the topic itself. Just spend 2 3 minutes in engaging them, asking how are they feeling, how was the day, and is everything okay or not. Again, it depends situation to situation. So if you are delivering a presentation to your delegates, which are coming from a long distance, and they are specifically there for the presentation, and you're just wasting 5 10 minutes by asking how are they doing, it just doesn't make any sense, right? So you can shift the questions, you can twist the questions, you can start with a story, you can start with a nice good quote, you can start with some positive affirmations, you can start with some positive words that should be relatable to the topic. Okay, so whatever you are going to say on that day, it should be clearly according to the topic. You cannot afford to say anything or quote anything that goes against the topic, right? So very very important part is how you can captivate your audience. Okay, very crucial thing. You have captivated your audience, you have already won the race. So the next part is present. We were discussing about the four P's. We have already discussed about the planning and the preparation part. Now comes the present. I have already discussed few of the points from the slide. So make a strong start. Your start should be very, very impactful. Okay, how you can make it impactful, how you can make it a strong start? You can add some short story which is related to your life, which is related to the topic, and which is obviously a true concept. Okay, if I say few words, or if I share my own story, then I have started doing public speaking back I was in high school. When I was in 7th standard, I still remember, it was to be precise, I was in 6th standard when I was called up by one of my teachers, and she just called me up on the stage, and she already prepared me to speak few words. But when I went on the stage for the first time, I got blacked out. I just couldn't able to say few words. I just couldn't able to introduce myself, and I just came back to my class all with my teary eyes. So this was a scene that I still remember, and when I look back at that time, I feel so blessed. I feel really good that I really feel thankful that it happened. Due to that day, due to that time, I got so much of instinct in myself that I should start working on how I can present myself. And here I am today. Here I am training school students, training college students, corporates to present how they can be more presentable, how can they powerfully present themselves. So you see, everything starts at a point where you have the firm determination. To just quote an example, I have shared this story. Likewise, when you share some true stories, some true glimpses of your life, which are quite relatable to the topic, your audience feel engaged. They feel that you are authentic. And when the audience starts believing in you, you can do wonders, right? So your first 2 3 minutes, your initial time period is very important. Just don't think that by now you haven't learned and you cannot learn in your entire life. If you haven't learned by now, possibilities are there. You can get the mentors, you can get the coaches, you can get trained, right? So right now what I feel is that training is something which comes from within. As I have already shared, I have never ever been trained by anyone to train others. This is something which I've got as a gift of God, and I feel a responsibility factor to pass this knowledge to as many as possible, as many as I can. So, coming back to what we were discussing, is your story, your presentation should be really, really strong, and initial 2 3 minutes are very crucial. If you hold, if you hook up the audience for those initial minutes, you can get the entire flow of the presentation smoothly, right? So, your passion should be visible, because this is something I'm very passionate about. You won't feel me, you won't see me tired during the entire 2 3 hours presentation. So this should be the case for every topic you deliver. Your hand gestures, your hand movements, your body language should feel appealing. If I just sit like this, if I just let you guys see, if I just sit like this, don't use my hands, don't shift my focus, don't make eye contact, doesn't do at all, and just start saying few, or just vomiting it out few lines, then my audience will not feel engaged. So in order to make your audience feel connected to you, you should have that positive vibes exchange and make eye contact. You should smile quite often, but don't laugh. There is a difference between a gentle smile and a laugh. So you're not allowed to laugh during a presentation unless or until there was something about a joke. Otherwise, just put a good, nice smile on your face and use the hand gestures. I was telling you that we can never sit with the arms closed. I don't know if you can see me with this movement. We can never do this crossing of arms. Why? Because this sends the message that we are close to a conversation. We are not open kind of person. So whosoever does that, whosoever make a cross, make a X in any part of the body, we people, we the professionals, see it as a sign of a no. So we should try to avoid this body language in your presentation or the general conversation, right? So what you can do, you can do the hand movements like this, you can do like this, or you can generally move your hands according to the topic. So you don't have to do your hand movements that would feel extra, that will feel over. You don't have to do like this. When it is required, only then use your hand gestures, right? Okay, I hope I'm making quite topic quite clear to all of you. If there is anything you wish to ask, you can pop your questions up in the chat box. I will try to answer all the questions that you guys are having at the end of the session. right? Why I am not taking the questions in between is because it will disrupt the flow of the presentation. I want you people to learn first, to understand the concepts, and then comes up with the questions, right? So what are the things you need to take care of in the presentation part? You make a good start with some stories, some jokes, some quotes, some positive things, whatever you wish to, but make your audience engaged in the initial few minutes, okay? And make a good nice eye contact with them, a few times a gentle smile, and you're good to go, right? Okay, so what are the traits of a good speaker? How you can analyze that he or she is a good speaker or not? As the very first point, you can see open with impact. When they start with a boom part, right? So it is not going to be a very what you will people call it, a very sad or low energy start. They will not do that. When they comes on screen, when they comes in front of the audience, they energize the other people, they pass on that energy, and the audience wants to listen up to them. So how you can do it? By using the voice modulation. So use the voice modulation, arouse the curiosity, give them a reason to listen to you, okay? You cannot forcefully bind anyone and stick to the point, but you can always offer them something which they feel impressive, which they feel useful, and only then they will be listen up to you. Empathize with them. If you show somebody that you are feeling the same, you are, wearing the same shoes as they are, then they will feel connected to you. And when that connection build up, your game is done, right? So nobody learns from the very starting, nobody is perfect, right? But we all can learn, we all can evolve as the time passes. So this is the time now, this is the time when you can learn new things, when you can add on new concepts, and you can just pace up to match the pace of the going world, right? Show the solution. Everybody likes the person who comes up with a solution. Likewise, in today's webinar, if I just say that you guys don't know how to give a presentation, there are so much problem. Your presentation is so problematic. Your personality is so problematic. You people might not listen to me because what I'm doing is I'm showing you the problems. But if I say that you can solve this problem by doing this, you can resolve this issue by adopting this, then you might get interested, then you will get interested to listen to what I have to say. Okay, so emphasize on benefits. Whatever your presentation is about, you have to show them that this is going to be very useful. Okay, I am adopting every single aspect. I am telling you people, whatever I am teaching you, that I have already adopted, right? Stay focused. You don't have to lose the focus or shift the focus from your topic, and build a charismatic personality. Everybody loves to listen to a person who has a charisma, who has a lot of power in the personality. Nobody loves to listen up to a person who is, having no power, no impact, no values, nothing extra to offer. This webinar will definitely add value to your knowledge, right? So engaging part is very important. If I just forget that there are some people who are listening to me, and I keep on saying stuff without bothering what your concerns are, then this presentation is going to be a failure. So as a speaker, very important part is that you feel concerned and you do something which people remember even if your presentation is over, right? So how you can do that? First, your appearance matters, your presentation matters, your content matters, and your way of delivery matters, right? So as I have said, open with the impact and close with the impact, and whatever you are saying in between, it should be well connected. Do not just say things randomly. If you started from point A, your audience must feel that you are leading them to point B, and then from C, and then to the next point. If there is no connectivity between your content, your audience will get lost. Your audience will get lost in the confusing thoughts. So whenever you are designing a presentation, very very important aspect is that you choose the content wisely. Okay. So, one of the most major problems everybody faces is of boring presentation. I have already discussed with you that how we can analyze and how we can feel that the presentation is boring when you just do the paper reading and whatever you are saying goes out of the head of your audience, then they will lose the interest, right? So when we listen to the people, when we listen to the other person, when we know that there is something useful in it, when we know that we are going to get something very very important after this, only then we hook up to this presentation, to whatever we are saying. So at the end of the presentation, as I have promised, there are few bonus tips that we are going to share. So stick to the end point of this presentation so that you can get the maximum utilization of this webinar. Right? So there is something which I called a bonus tips, which we will share at the end of the webinar, so you can get how you can build a powerful personality. Right? Okay. So moving on to the other part, what are the causes? What are the things which makes a presentation ineffective? When we fail to motivate the audience, when I am just letting the other people know, when I'm just saying to my audience that they have this flaw, that flaw, you're not good at this, you're not good at that. If I'm just complaining about their traits, if I am just saying about their problems part, I am failing to motivate them, then they will lost the interest, right? And when the structure of the presentation is confusing, when the audience don't know where we are heading, so these are the few things that will make a presentation ineffective. And excess of the details, as you have already heard that excess of everything is bad. So if you think, most of the people does that mistake that they add on multiple slides, they add on multiple information in one slide, because they think more the information and more would be the engagement. But in reality, it is a vice versa. If you add more information to the slides, if you say lot more things, then it will lead your audience feeling like where they are, they're not getting what you are saying. So very very important part is, use less details to your slides, use well designed pictures, use well designed slides, so that your audience feel a connection. Okay, so throughout there would be a connection, throughout there would be a series, or there would be a chain of events that your audience will feel that okay, we are heading towards this direction and now we have learned this much. Likewise, right now we have learned about the 4 P's, and we have also learned about how we can plan the things and what are the components of a good speaker, and how we can build a self confidence, right? Okay, coming up to the next part, how to start your presentation, the opener part. I have already shared with you people that you can start with a bang to get attention. Because agar starting mein you haven't built up that connection with your audience, you will not be able to do that in the entire presentation. Okay, so you can start with some icebreaker activity, you can start with some story, you can start with some quotation, or anything you feel like going with the topic. Everything revolves around the topic that you have for the presentation. Okay, so maybe some story goes with one topic but not with the another, so you cannot put the same content with every presentation. At some places it will be like a good show, but at some places it might be a flop show. So you should be very very careful about choosing a opener part. Next, we have how we can start it. You have to be very, very friendly with your audience. So the speakers who are very rude, the speakers who don't concerned about the audience, we don't feel like talking to them. Now tell me honestly, if there is someone in front of you who is just talking abruptly or just very rude and just don't know the human emotions, would you like to talk to that person? Would you like to even listen to that person? I'm sure your answer would be unknown, right? So if we don't want to listen up to that person, how can somebody will listen to us if we become the one? They will not, right? So we should be very, very warm, we should be friendly, we should give some facts and figures. If we talks on real grounds, if we talks on real information, audience is very smart. Audience just judge in seconds that the speaker is worth listening or not. So when your audience is smart, you have to make your standards quite high. So you just can't go without preparation and just blabber about the random things. So throw some questions, put some light, guide them, coach them, mentor them, do everything that is possible, that is required to keep your audience engaged. Okay, again, it depends to which audience you are delivering. Set of audience is always a matter of priority, because whatever you're going to say, you will say according to the audience. Next, the very important part, key set, key skill set, your body language. So, smile is one thing, that the one curve which sets the all other things. So, we should smile during the presentation, not too much, a little bit sometimes. Make a good eye contact. Here, as we are doing the webinar, I cannot see most of the faces. So, this eye contact won't be able to come into practice in the virtual part. But if you're having one-to-one conversation, if you are physically present over there, then it is very, very important factor. Do not lock your arms at all. This locking of arms is not advisable, right? So your heads should be up, you should not look downwards, you should not do a paper reading, you should not do anything which your audience feel that you're not confident enough, right? So connect with the audience and relax in between. You should not feel like you're in a hurry or something. So it is not about that you've just started and you just have to finish within just like few minutes. So you have got quite a lot time, and you just breathe, relax, and then deliver the presentation. Okay, organizing the close is very important. How we can end it in a perfect way. Whatever you have told them, you need to reiterate. Likewise, I'm doing in between, I'm explaining, I am telling you people that what we have covered, how far we have come. We have started with the planning part, we have started why presentation is important, we have covered how we can be the good speaker, we have covered how we can present in a well professional way, in a coordinated way, and these are the key points. So when you summarize, your audience feel okay. They have the clarity of thought in their mindset. We should repeat the key points. Likewise, I have been repeating, body language is one key factor, your starting is one key factor, your ending with impact is one key factor, and your content of the presentation is one key factor, right? So I want every one of you to practice whatever we are learning here today. So ask for the action. Whenever you are somewhere where your audience is dependent on your skills, when they are present there to learn something, ask them for the actions. And always end on a positive note. Do not end your presentations on a negative note, because sometimes what happens is, suppose there are 100 students or 100 attendees in your presentation, in your seminar, and up from those 100 group of students, Few of them were listening to you in the initial segments, few of them in the middle part, and 20% of them were listening when you were about to end the presentation. So when you are ending the presentation and that was the time they are most active, it is very important that you end on a positive note, right? So when you end on a positive note, they will keep or they will get away that positive message out of it, and they will get benefited obviously. Okay, so how we can design now, as I have promised that we will discuss the practical portions also. There is not only the theory part that I'm going to discuss with you people. So here comes the practical segments, how we can design the presentation. So there is a simple KISS rule, that is keep it short and simple, right? How we can keep it short and simple? There are few people who put excessive information in the slides, who put lots of information in terms of words in one slide, and it feel like so confusing to the audience. So whenever you're designing your slides, whenever you're designing your presentation, use short words and short phrases. Likewise, in all the slides I have shared, there were no bulky information mentioned in these slides. You know why? Because as a speaker, it's your responsibility to take the things further from the slides. You just not supposed to mention everything on the slide. See, these are the rules that you might be aware of, but you haven't uh, practice these rules, you haven't make these rules as a part of your habit. So this is the main loophole. So there should not be more than 7 words per line, and no more 6 lines per slide. So if you put 8 10 lines, that's 2 of 10 12 words, it not become impressive and compelling. Okay, so I request everyone and I advise everyone not to add too much of information. Okay, less information with more elaboration, that would go hand in hand. If you add everything on slide, what you will speak about? If your presentation have to speak, what is the necessity of yours being present there? Nothing, right? So add lesser information in the slides, but as a speaker you should elaborate every point quite briefly. This you will agree to me 100% that visuals are very very important. If you just add the words or the lines or the sentences, people might not get connected. But if you add the pictures, like I have added the picture in the very starting, the first slide was of picture only. So there was a thing which hit the human mind quite hard, quite directly, right? So when you add the picture, you save the time. When you add the picture, it will be more understandable by your audience. When you add any visual, any video, any image, it would grab the instant attention. You can try it anytime. You are having a group of people in front of you and there were 5 slides having only wordy information, but when the next slide comes with a picture, everybody turns their head to see what's happening around, right? So it enhances the attention, and it helps obviously control the nervousness. Why and how it can control the nervousness? Because as a speaker, if you have just started, there comes a time when you feel nervous about your presentation, but when there is something beautiful being presented on your screen and you are sharing some information about it, you will feel that everything is in your control. You can control that time. As a speaker, you have the liberty to control whatever you are saying and whatever the others are seeing. Okay, so you can have such kind of tips whenever you are building or preparing your presentation. So these are again the tips that I would like to share with you all. Maintain a good eye contact, it will change the entire game upside down. When you maintain the eye contact, people will feel connected to you and they will feel more engaged, right? Vary your speaking volume, very important. If you just go with the same flow, your audience will definitely feel bored. Use pauses. Take a pause in between. You're not in a hurry, you're not about to rush for a train to catch. So take pauses, but not long pauses. Okay, very very important thing that you just can't do, and you never ever do this. Don't read your presentation, right? And whenever you're presenting something to some screen, do not stand in between. If there is something visual which is being displayed and your audience can see it, if you're standing in between, your audience have to look like this and look like that, so it will obviously disrupt their mindset. So do not stand in between. Use some examples, some short clips, some questions, some stories, and whatever you wish to make your entire presentation interactive. As I have said, that you cannot close your hands or make it like and look like an X. Do not put your hands in the pocket. If you're standing on a stage, you're not supposed to put your hands inside the pocket. Speak to the audience directly. Just don't look at the presentation wall and just read what is being written and then say. Just look straight, talk with them, be normal, be casual. It's not something which is out of the world. You can do it, humans can do it, right? So circulate around the room as you speak. Just don't stand at the same place. These are the very very important information that I'm sharing. As a campus coach, there are management students to whom I give training. So when I first encountered with them, some of the students, when I set them to deliver a presentation, they just stood against the dais and they were just reading the presentation from their laptops. So this is something which I have taught them, that whenever you're talking to an audience and audience is in front of you, don't just stand at one position. And again, your walking frequency should vary. You not should not walk too fast and not too slow. It should feel very very normal and very very natural, right? So what are your objectives? Just discuss it in the very very beginning of the presentation. Your voice should be very very clear and loud. If you're having a collar mic or any of the mic or any other equipment, do not shout. Your voice should feel pleasing, right? So when your voice is irritating, when your voice is very very loud, your audience will, it will just hit right in their mind and they don't like to listen up to you. So be pleasing, go with the flow, but at the same time, make your audience go with the flow also, right? Okay, so what is the tips on the visual? Because I have just said that visuals are important, right? So just to add the pictures is not enough. You should have a clarity why you are adding this, and will that be relatable or not. So suppose there are 500, not 500, suppose there are 50 students in a room or people to whom you're presenting. So you should not add a visual which is not visible to this person sitting at last. So there should be some clarity of the visual. So these are the things, as I've told you, presentation is a vast topic. What are the background colors? Which color of font should be there? Which should be more pleasing colors? There are so many things which are present in the presentation skill, and today we are learning just the basics, right? So this topic is very very vast. You can just spend entire week of the workshop to master the skills. Today we are just learning the overview and how you can ace the presentation game. So we should know that whatever visual we have added, is it visible from all sides of the room or the area we are presenting at? So it's a responsibility of a speaker. Okay, coming on to the very important part. As a speaker, very very crucial thing is how you can detect that your audience is not listening, how you can know that your audience is getting bored. Here, in the webinar part, in the virtual meeting, I cannot look at my audience, so I cannot analyze what are going on in their mind, and I cannot analyze what they are going through, right? But when you are seeing the person one to one, when you are physically present, when your audience starts to look down. Generally what happens, even it happens with me also, when I'm not interested in the speaker, I just don't look at the person very, with much attention, with much focus. I start looking around somewhere else, I start looking down, and people does that. So when they start rubbing their face, when they start putting hands like this, when they start putting hands like this, so these are the signs that your audience is not interested to listen to the topic. So that time you need to change the game. See, everything is in hands of the speaker. When you have analyzed that they're not interested in the topic, do something extra, do something different which will make them engaged again, right? So when they start tapping their feet, when they start touching their ear, these are the general body language tips. Even if we are talking to somebody, if as a teacher or as a student, if you're talking to your friend, to your colleague, if they're doing so, that clearly means they are not interested to what you are saying. So as a good observer, you can always shift the game, right? So you can always shift the game. Students, now we have came towards the end of the presentation session. There are a lot more things which I want to discuss with you all, but I would like to take the questions also. There is something important that I would like to share. This is a very nice quote which hit me hard from Dorothy Sarnoff. Make sure you have finished speaking before your audience has finished listening. Very important thing. You just can't go saying, speaking, and speaking. You should know that your audience is there with you or not, right? So always remember the rules we have discussed, how you can make your presentation, how you can add the information, and how you should present it. So just finished all the things you wish to say in a, you know prescribed time limit. Do not exceed the time limit, right? And avoid negative and boring start. If your start is a boring part, then your entire presentation would be a flop show. So always start with on a positive note, and always start with some positive message. Tell them why they should listen up to you. Give them a reason that why they should listen up to you. Okay, so yes, this was all about the presentation skills. You all are welcome here to come with the questions. All right. Is there anything specific you wish to ask about, or you can ask the participants to share a few of the questions they wish to ask. All right, I'm seeing all the comment sections. Do ask the questions if you have any. Okay, so I can see questions. So from, how does one change their presentation if they have a mixed audience? See, if you have a mix of audience, then you can always go for a common path. There would not be a chance, there would never be a chance when audience would be a 5-year-old and a 60-year-old, right? Even if it gets so, then you can build a common path. So audience will vary, obviously they will vary, but their content, you will always find a way to prepare content according to their level of understanding. In case of mixed audience also, you can go for the content that would be understandable from both the levels. You cannot go for something which is very, very extraordinary and cannot be understandable by the lower level audience. Okay, question from Vikas. Would keeping minimal information on the slides and giving enough information in our speech instead help? Definitely, it will help, because if you mention everything in the slides, then audience will not listen up to you. When they can read everything, what is the point of listening up to you? Likewise, what I have done in today's webinar, I have added minimal information. I have just added the key points, I have just added the headings. Whatever I have said, I have explained it to my audience. That's when your audience feel that you have got something different and something extra to share. So always use the minimum information on the slides. When you're doing a presentation in the corporate world, there it is required, that it is necessary that you add all the facts and figures in your presentation, because you cannot always remember all the figures and facts correctly, right? So when you add facts and figures, why they are there and how they should be there, that you can explain. Okay, I hope it helped, Vikas. Okay, question from Vikas again. Can I get some suggestions regarding the background in the slides? I always struggle to choose a good theme background for my presentation slides. Very common question that we all face. Students, we have a lot of background options by PowerPoint itself. Even if you want to go for the another backgrounds, whatever, what I suggest you people, go with the topic. If your topic is something formal, then you can go with some blank background with some kind of, you can add some extra pictures to it, right? Just don't go with the same backgrounds that is being present there over the years, that same white and blue, that same circles of what clocks. So it will not going to help you to create an impactful presentation. So background should be in accordance with the topic. So if you give me a topic, I will suggest what kind of background should be there. Okay, so another question, how to learn proper body language. See, body language is a vast term, right? I am still learning body language. We can never have enough of learning body language. How you can improvise it? Just use few of the tips I have shared. I will share one more time. Your body language is how your body posture represent yourself in public. Whenever you are in public gathering, how you are presenting yourself. I have seen many people walking with their shoulders slouching. What slouching means? They have just dropped their shoulders down, and it feels like they have absolute no energy in them. So they haven't said anything about their personality, but by seeing the slouching shoulders, I have come to know that this person hasn't have that kind of confidence, that kind of spark in him, no enthusiasm, nothing at all. So when you walk with the straight shoulders, when you walk with some confidence, then you don't have to say a few words about yourself. The other one will come to know instantly that this person is professional, this person is of high confidence. So you can never close your lock your arms. Whenever you sit with a straight body posture. These are the few tips I can give you for now. Rest, body language is a very vast topic. Ranjit is asking, how can I develop my communication skills? With practice, my dear, with practice you will learn the communication skills. Sometimes what you feel is, if we have enough knowledge of the tenses or the English language part, we'll build up communication skills. Your communication skills will only be aided by your confidence and your practice. The more you practice, the more fluent you will become. Okay, Martina Joyce is asking, ma'am, any more tips on how to boost confidence during presentation, especially for those who have shyness and stage fright? Okay, very good question. I have came across students like this. Like n number of students are there who feel shy, who have stage fear. They don't have enough confidence to go on the stage and say what they want to. If they are speaking so well in an empty room, they can't able to say their names with room full of 10 people. So this is a problem with lots of people. So what I suggest to them is start practicing it. When you are alone, start speaking in front of a mirror if it helps. One more thing I would like to share, one more tip I would like to share, Martina, here. That is, you can record your videos. Whenever you speak, you just put your mobile camera on and record your videos. Once you're done, just see those videos again and see where you were lacking. What were the loopholes? When you do that, you will feel the confidence that you are doing quite well. And when you know that you can do a good speech about this topic, you will feel confident automatically, right? Just think, whatever or whosoever persons are sitting in front of you, they don't know anything about the topic. You have mastered the skill, you have mastered all the knowledge about this topic. When you say these things to yourself, it will become very, very easy for you to speak with full confidence. And it will happen only if you do a full research, if you do a lot of practice. If you just practice one time and suppose, or you expect that you will able to just nail the presentation, it's not going to happen, right? So practice makes a man perfect. Okay, any other questions you guys are having? You can ask as many questions you want. Okay, Renan has a question. In webinar, there's a lot of distraction, the noise, etc., that defocus your presentation and speech. How can we handle this distraction? Renan, are you talking about the virtual webinar we are having, or you're talking about the distraction that can be happen in a webinar where we are seeing the audience face to face? Okay. Any other question you guys are having? I'm unable to find any other question. Okay, Kuldeep has a question. Should I add audio or video element to it? Depends entirely upon you, Kuldeep. You can add anything you want. If you want a short video, do add it. But I suggest do not add a long video, because if you add a long video, what it will lead to, your audience will feel there is some movie or a show going on, and when the video will end, it would become very, very difficult for you to catch the attention, because if your video was really good, it has already settled up a standard, right? For you to match that standard comes again a part of another responsibility. So whatever you are adding, just make sure it cannot be too long, not more than a minute or two. If it is about 5-10 minutes, it will just ruin the entire taste of your presentation. Mariam has a question. How can I start my presentation when lecturers are also attending? Like, it should be in a respectful. Obviously, yes. If your lecturers are also attending, your mentors are also attending, just address them in the beginning. But keep this thing in your mind that their presence should not be a matter of hindrance in your entire presentation. Just take them as a part of your audience and say whatever you have prepared. Okay, do not feel underconfident, do not feel a burden or a kind of stress on you that your seniors are sitting right there. Ma'am, what would you suggest to a person who is shy at the beginning but gets more and more motivated to speak as the time passes? I just didn't get what was the question in this entire sentence. Okay, how to grab the attention. See, the entire game is about the attention. Once you ace this game, your presentation would be to the next level. So, grab the attention is the most tricky part, and it can be easy for some. So, if you that is only reason I was telling you to know about your audience. If you know about your audience, then you know what are the things they will be interested in. If you know what kind of audience are going to attend the presentation, you can add few things which would be about their interest. And as in humans, even I get interested in whatever somebody says about my own interest. So this is a simple trick I have shared with you all, that know your audience, know their interest, add few elements to it which interests them further. You can get their attention for sure. How can I be sure? Kuldeep has a question. How can I be sure that my textual slides are as efficient and high impact as possible before going for an actual presentation? Okay, good question, Kuldeep. So, to be a master of any topic, it is very, very important to research. When you research, you will get ample amount of examples in front of you. And when you prepare your own presentation, you can easily compare them. When you compare and the comparison would be there, it would be very very easy to decide whether you have prepared the efficient slides or not. And even if you feel confused to decide ki abhi you have reached that level or not, you can always consult a person who is a master at it. Okay, it is always better to seek for the guidance if you are not sure of that. Okay, any other questions, students? Attire, clothing for presentation, very important question. I generally add this segment in the dress to success part. That is a very very important topic, that is dress to success. Whatever we wish to make an impact about, we should be ready to look like that. So I would like to share one more important thing with you all here. If you want to be a successful person, if you want to be a rich person, a successful person, person who's having a successful professional career, then just don't stop and wait for the time to come and then you react like that. If you want to be successful, just feel you are already successful and start doing the things that all the successful persons does. Okay, so your dressing should be very very formal if you are delivering a presentation in a formal atmosphere and a formal gathering. And if you are doing a presentation at some informal event, then also don't go for the complete informal attire. Your attire will decide what kind of result or review you are seeking from the other person. Okay, suppose I am sitting at my comfort of my home. We are doing a webinar over here. I could have easily slipped into my comfortable suit, into my comfortable clothes, and come to a live session, but I haven't done that because no matter what the place is, no matter what the medium is, your outlook will decide how your audience will take you. I want my audience to take me seriously. I have to dress up accordingly. So, whatever you wish to. So, if you want, Samya, right? So, Samya, if you want your audience to take you seriously, you have to dress up very, very nicely, precisely in your formal clothes, in your business suits. Okay. Yes, Renan, there are lots of noises which we unfortunately cannot control. If there are some natural things going on around you, you cannot control that. But what I would advise you, when you know that you're going to attend a webinar, when you know you're going to organize a webinar, already fix up a peaceful space to avoid all the distractions, to avoid all the noises. Because if you are serious for a cause, you will make all the necessary arrangements, right? Our dress sense should be very very formal if we are delivering a formal presentation. Kuldeep has a question. What sort of brainstorming or research required before making a PPT on a particular niche? How to start doing that? If you have got a topic, Kuldeep, if you have got a topic, then we all have the access to Google. We all have the access to SlideShare. You can just enter your topic and get the multiple examples. When we get the multiple examples, we see how people are working. When we see how people are working, there are one kind of people who generally like to copy paste the items, but I don't believe in that. When you see multiple examples, you can use your own brain, you can use your own creative ideas, you can just take the hint and then start preparing your own presentation. This is how you will work, because nobody in the world works except or without any inspiration or without any idea. So you should know what is going on in the market, what are the market trends. So when you research that, analyze that, your brain will give you, start giving you the ideas accordingly. You have to just put it together and deliver it in front of people. As simple as that. How can you measure, ma'am, the success of your presentation at the end of your speech? Very good question. See, Renan, it is not every time possible that you can satisfy all the individuals you're meeting or you are delivering your presentation. The success of my presentation depends how successfully I have delivered. If I know I have delivered my 100%, 100%, I will feel it was a successful webinar. And to add icing on the cake, if I get the good nice reviews from my audience, that would be the measure of my success. First is the internal satisfaction. So if I am satisfied with the performance, I will feel that my presentation was a successful one. The next thing comes the review part that comes from the audience. Okay, Mariam is asking, are you going to present another meeting for us? For students also, because I really understand your presenting sense and I want to learn more from you. Thank you so much for this compliment, first of all, Mariam. And I feel really happy to see this comment. Yes, definitely, we will plan another sessions where you can join and learn very amazing things that are awaiting us. Okay, any other questions you guys are having? Or you guys have done with the all the questions? We still have got quite a time so that we can discuss few things. All right, Vikas has a question. What theme background would you suggest for a review to a research article? See, Vikas, research article, when you are presenting something to a scholars, it is obviously not going to be something which would have cartoon characters, which would have basic characters which school children would obviously do, right? So to present there, you should have a clean simple background with a clear font over that. It would be best. As simple it would be, the more impactful it would be, right? So keep it simple, keep it short. It would give you the higher revenue, it would give you the best of the presentation. Do not go for that flowery arrangements. Nobody in the corporate world likes to go for that. So if you are preparing a professional PPT, then just go for the simple basic backgrounds that you can easily download from Pinterest and from Google, that would suit your topic and make it very, very simple. Thank you so much everyone for joining in. I'm waiting for the another set of questions. If you have any, you can put it forward, you can pop up with some good questions. Oh, that's so good, Vikas. That's so good that I have benefited you in some or the other way. Thank you so much for joining in and good luck for your presentation for tomorrow. I hope you'll do well. Thank you. Any kind of review you would like to add on? Anything you wish to ask about the presentation. I'm all open to answer all the questions. The reason I have summed up my presentation half an hour earlier because I wanted to clear all the doubts. I don't wanted you to carry any doubt with yourself once the presentation was over. So that was the reason I have summed it up half an hour ago. So you have a lot of time to ask the questions. Ask me anything regarding the presentation skills. All right, one more question from Renan. How many slides and how many hours must speaker be speaking to avoid burdensome of the listener or the audience? Again, Renan, it depends your set of audience, because if we see that there is some non-serious elements in present in your presentation, they will get bored if you speak about the 10 minutes or if you speak about 20 minutes, right? So it would be hardly a difference from their point of view. So to be precise, for 1 hour, there should not be more than 15 to 18 slides, right? Because you'll get 60 minutes, and if you spare around 4 to 5 minutes per slide, because this is the least you can devote. So you can devote 3 to 4 minutes, 5 minutes maximum to a slide, and then you can sum it up. So accordingly, you can plan, and when you explain everything with clear vision, with a clear thought, the audience will not feel bored. They will get connected. Okay, one MCZ020. I really don't know the name. So, can you tell the or first? I just didn't get the question. Can you just resentenced it or reframed it? Vasvi is asking which color will be good for background. See, color is obviously your choice. You can have any color in the background, not the poppy ones, not the typical yellow, orange, red. Don't go for that. Keep it simple, keep it subtle, which would not click, which would not be clinchy to the eye of the audience, right? So whenever you're choosing the color of the background, make sure what color of font you are using. If you're using a white background, you cannot go for the light color font. So choose the color of the slides, choose the color of the background as you are choosing the color of your font. You want me to read the first slide? The first slide was about how and why presentation skills was is important, and it was a picture in the first slide. There was a dish called idli, and I bifurcated them in two parts, where there was one very basic, the homemade part, the homemade platter, and the next one was can you tell the first slide because of you've missed it. Okay, can you just specify what you are specifically asking about? Because the first slide was about the picture, the importance of presentation. That was it. All right, students, any other questions you are having in your mind, you can clear it. About four parts. Okay, the four parts. The first part was obviously the planning part: planning, preparing, practicing, and present. So whenever you got any topic, it is very important for you to plan about that topic. In planning comes what are your audience, what's your topic, what you want to deliver, everything, right? So next was your preparation part. You need to prepare whatever you have planned, and you have to practice it. Practice in front of your friends, or you can practice it alone, and then you can present it in front of everyone when it was a day to present. Is it a good idea to make notes on the information in the slides so as to aid during the presentation and keep it at hand during the presentation? Because if you are delivering a presentation that is very very practical, that is based on the practical information, for that matter only you have a slides to look at. You don't need to carry any kind of notes in the hands. No, it is not advisable. You should be empty handed whenever you are going for a presentation, because only then you will be able to communicate with your hand movements, right? So when you're able to communicate with the hand movements, so it is not advisable to take notes in your hands. Okay, from Rukshar, does presentation skills refers only to the seminars and webinars? No, not at all. Presentation skills means how you talk to your friends, to your teachers, how you're presenting. It simply means how you're presenting. But today, what we have learned, the typically about how we can do a presentation in seminars and webinars. But we have covered many topics that will come under how we can present in the normal day-to-day life also. Vasvi, only Ayush can, the co-host, other co-host will guide you about the recording part. There is an issue of plagiarism on presentation and in your speech. How we can avoid this? Absolutely. There is a chance of plagiarism because when there is a common topic, everybody has the common information. But again, how you deliver it, how you present it is your own creativity. If you just download the PPT and just deliver it, it would be having the same content like everybody else out there. Then comes your own creative thoughts, your own creative hands. What you do to the present topic, what you do with the current topic that everybody else have in their hands is completely about your skills. Okay, so no one can take your creativity and no one can plag about your creativity. Whatever I am saying, I haven't prepared or noted from anybody, from anywhere else, right? So whatever you will say in your presentation would be about you, would be from you, and you have the complete right, you have the patent to all the words you will be going to speak in your presentation. So do not worry about the plagiarism part, but in your heart you should know that you have worked really hard to prepare that presentation. If it's already copied, then plagiarism would be an issue for sure. Samya is asking, what about the makeup and jewelry for female presenters? Samya, I have done image consultancy also, and I have been telling people, and I have been assisting them how they can dress up according to the situation and according to the occasion they are going to. So, jewelry and makeup again altogether have a very vast criteria. Obviously we cannot do or wear that long danglers whenever we are going to a presentation. We should have a subtle neck piece that should be preferable if it's of pearls, and just small tops in your hand, in your ears, that's it. Do not go for the excessive of makeup. Minimal makeup with a minimal base. Do not go for the dark lip shade. That is all we can do for the female presenters. If we get the disturbs presentation, how to make up all back? Yes, it will happen. There would be chances when from audience you will see lots of disturbances, when you will not be able to make a hold at them. That is why I have said in the starting you have to create the atmosphere. In the starting you have to rule that area. In starting you have to create an outlook that your audience will feel that we are here to learn something from someone who is worthy of listening. You have to create your own worth. You have to create your personal brand, right? So you are the brand ambassador. You have the own brand, and you can build it, and you can, just kill it. So all in your hands. Yes, any other questions you are having? Yes, Ayush, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, of course. It was really a lovely and awesome session, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Are we having another set of questions from any of the audience part?
I haven't received anyone. I think like everybody is. Guys, still you have the time. Like if you have any queries or
Okay,
doubts
so
regarding.
Sana has a question. If parents doesn't allow to wear formal, can we also dress ourselves modestly? Absolutely, Sana. formals doesn't always means business suits, business skirts, and shirts and western formals. Indian formals are also, preferable by so many corporate industries. So if you cannot wear the western formals, then you can always go for the Indian formals, right? Very interesting question that I have got. What is the best way to spend our time just before the presentation? Will going through the points again and again will be of any help? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So you all can relate to one thing, that before our exam, what we people used to do it, even I used to do it when I was in high school. Before examination, we used to open up a book and just keep on cramming all the points before 2 minutes of the exam. Like, this 2 minute reading is the most important part, otherwise we are going to forget about everything, right? But honestly, this is not going to be of any help. You're just stressing yourself. This is what I have learned over time and over experience, that if you have prepared, you have done whatever you could do, then just relax and wait for your turn. That's it. Okay. When Why we go to read points again and again? Because back in the mind we feel that we are underconfident, right? But if you have done your 100% preparation, nobody can, make you feel underconfident. It is only you who is telling to ourselves only that I'm not confident, I don't know this, I don't know that, what I'm going to do when I'll be on stage, will I be able to speak well or not? So these are the questions which comes in the mind of a beginner, which comes in the mind of a person who hasn't practiced well. So when you practice well, then everything will be settled up according to the plan. If I take today's example, I was really occupied since morning and I have lots of prior engagements. I've just started up with today's webinar, and because this is a topic I'm passionate about, because this is something I have been doing since years, so this is something which my experience is speaking. I haven't practiced, I haven't rehearsed for today's webinar. And why it was a successful session from my side? Because it was my years of practice into the same field. So when you take one topic and you keep on doing, practicing the same thing, you will definitely become the master of that thing. Nobody can beat you in that part. Thank you everyone for this appreciation. Thank you so much for these kind words. Even I enjoyed myself a lot. You guys are truly a part of wonderful audience. Thank you for joining in. Any other questions are still awaited? I didn't get the question how to be the first slide. Okay, Kuldeep has a question again. If something goes wrong during the presentation, like any technical issue or power cut, and we have a stipulated time to complete it, and still we have to engage with the audience and keep the show go on, how can we do that? Again, very, very important question. See, Kuldeep and everyone else there, technical issues can happen with anyone anytime. We have absolute no control over that. If light went off and the system shuts off, if the presentation is not running, if the slides are not continuing to the next one, we just can't do anything. All we can do is, we cannot show the panic, we just can't show the stressed mindset to the audience. For that matter, you always have some information ready in your mind that you can use to engage with the audience. Suppose there is one slide which is going on about the main theme of the topic. So at that point of time, it's something technical issue happened, that what you can do is, you can take that clue from that slide and you keep on adding information and sharing information with that audience, right? You cannot go back to help other people out for the technical issue. There are technical guys over there, they will keep it going, they will make it up. You have to present on the stage and keep the engagement going. Even if the blunder happens, then also you cannot show even a hint of stress on your face to the audience. That is the superior quality of a speaker, right? So you have to engage with the audience by sharing some of the story, by sharing some of the important points, by asking question. This time you can utilize to make the conversation with the audience. Suppose you are at the peak of your presentation, you can ask anyone from the audience to share their name, share their experience, what they have learned from the presentation, and you can utilize 5-10 minutes of the time. And by the time your presentation will get settled up, then you can get back to the presentation. I hope this answer works for you, Kuldeep. Okay, Tharani has a question how we should present our first slide. Like, we should do it colorful or it should be normal. See, being keeping it normal and keeping it colorful will hardly make a difference, because whatever your topic is about, whatever you are saying about the topic, this is all what is going to make the difference. So, if you are keeping it normal but your information is very powerful, that normal slide will also work. But if your topic is good, your presentation is very good, but you're not saying well, you're not speaking well, you're not providing any information, even the best presentation will fail to impress the audience. So whatever depends on your skills, speaker will never be dependent entirely on the presentation or the slides. Slides are there to help or to assist your speech, to assist what information you're sharing. Okay. Is there a part two of our seminar? I'm a business and sales. Can we personalize the topic for the next webinar? Thank you for the wisdom and tips. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Renan. I'm really glad to hear these kinds words from your side. We can plan another set of seminar based on the same topic. We can surely do that. Yes, students, any other questions you guys are having regarding anything you can ask? Okay, so you're from Philippines. That's so good. Thank you for joining the webinar. We are really glad to have you as a part of our audience. Thank you. And everybody else there, I would like to extend a heartfelt thanks. Thank you so much for joining in and being such an amazing sport. I truly appreciate that. Thank you. So, if there is no other questions, shall we end the session, Ayush? Or is there anything else?
I don't think so, ma'am. Like from the people, ma'am, it was really a lovely session, and the way you told about the cool hacks of presenting skills and the psychology and the body language, it was really awesome. I
Thank
hope
you.
all the people who joined the session would have loved that.
Hey,
So,
thanks, Kirti. It was a great session.
Thank you so much. I really
Certainly.
appreciate your presence. Thank you so much for being present in the seminar and being so patient part of the audience. Thank you.
Sure. And thanks a lot to, we have many people who joined in from Philippines today. I mean, I understand your time zone is 2.5 hours ahead
Yes,
of
yes,
us.
absolutely.
So it's great to have you here, even
Absolutely. All the
in
people
late
who have
Sunday night.
joined from the
Yep.
Philippines, I really appreciate your presence and thank you for joining in for the seminar and thank you for the time.
Guys, please do fill the feedback form and let us know your thoughts. And if you would want a follow-up session also, we would be glad to, know your thoughts and suggestions for future.
so like, ma'am, like till we are about to end this wrap this session up. So, ma'am, if you have last time anything for the people who are still there, like 33 odd people are there. So, if you have last suggestion to the people before, like,
Okay,
can
so
like,
to summarize, what I would suggest, whatever things we have learned regarding the presentation skills, I want you all to feel absolute confidence in yourself. See, this is you and you only that will decide how your presentation is going to end. Okay, so what you have to say to the audience, just make it valuable, because audience value what value you are giving to them. So your words, your speech, your presentation, your slides, whatever it would be, it should have that value in them. And when the other people will see the value, they will automatically start giving you respect, they will automatically start uh, uh, giving you the worth of your words, right? So make your words valuable, stay confident, and just nail the stage. I am really sure that you all can do that. Thank you so much once again. I really loved this session. Thank you, Ayush and the MFL Club, for giving me this opportunity. I thoroughly enjoyed my presence, and I hope whatever tips and tricks I have shared would be of great benefits for you all. Thank you.
Gratitude, ma'am. Thank you very much, guys. So, ma'am, if you want, you can log out if you want, because I
All
will
right.
be taking around 7 more minutes to
All
wrap the
right. All
session.
right. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Goodbye, ma'am.
Goodbye.
So, guys, I know all of you have liked the session. I think I should use the word must. All of you must have liked the session, but still, we want all of you guys to go through the feedback form. Like, if you have any thoughts or approach regarding the further session, or you want to have something like that, if you have some topic in the mind, so you are welcome to go and fill in the form. And at last, once again, the one who have liked the session, I think all of you must have liked the session. So if you have liked the session, type in the chat box with word boom. The session was really awesome. It was like you all boomed the session. So as in the starting, I was mentioning it is going to be a really exciting session. So I think we are up to the mark and we are up to the word. So talking about MFL Educlub, we will be keep on bridging this gap between the student requirement and the industry, student experts and the industry requirement. Either of the one you can fill in. So yeah, this will be keep going on. This thing from my side, if you guys have still some question, you can ask me if you want to have, although I am not the right person to solve this out, but yeah, I can. So I'll share the link. You can join me on LinkedIn as well if you want to. If you want.